Yes, we are live. So hello everyone and welcome to our webinar. Thank you all for joining. My name is Elena Grunyuk and I'm Regional Director for the Central Eastern Europe at the SME Banking Club, and I will be your host today. And today we will talk about mobile banking security and mobile ID and how to enable new business opportunities here. And I'm glad to be joined today by Václav Mladenka and Ondřej Gavrilik from Monet Plus, a company from the Czech Republic specialized in digital identity and users authentication. So hello, Ondřej and Václav, very glad to have you today.
Hi, hello everybody.
Okay, so before we start and go to the topic, let me mention very shortly some organizational moments. So our webinar is scheduled for 40 minutes. And we are recording this webinar, so right after we finish, you will receive a link to the video and the presentation. And in the end of the webinar, we're going to have time for your questions. So please type your questions into the chat even during the presentation. So let's go to the topic. So what we see here in the Central Eastern region now is that we updated our studies that we do on an annual basis on the online and mobile banking for SME customers. And what we saw this year that almost 50% of the banks here in the region implemented mobile authentication for their SME customers, which is a significant increase compared to the previous year where we had less than 30%. So, of course, this is caused by the accelerated digitalization this year due to the lockdown. And also the trends that we see are obvious that this is a moving away from the hardware solutions like tokens and passwords to their biometrics and mobile ID. So let's discuss today in detail the benefits of the mobile ID and what are the business opportunities here. So Václav and Ondřej, I'm passing the word to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Elena, for the opportunity to join and to discuss. I mean, we dealing with digital identity, as you mentioned, for quite a long of time. So I'll do have some small introduction, that presentation that we can share and go through this. So let me just share my screen, and this will help us to go through the topic as it is, because just maybe to do a bit of introduction of who we are, what we do. As you mentioned, we are from a company called Monet Plus. We are a Czech-based company, really focusing on digital identity for these more than 25 years. Digital identity, electronic payments go with us for all the time history, and we've been delivering services for a number of banks operating in the region. We're focusing on some of the brands that are operating on the Czech market. Maybe the topic about why we are here. I mean, you mentioned that a number of companies implemented strong customer authentication. The regulation is here that is forcing the customers to the banks and the customers to change something. And we see it on one hand as being some costs to the bank, but we see that there are some real opportunities behind that as well. So this is something we would like to talk about today, and maybe share the experience that we have, and maybe to have it as an opportunity to discuss in more detailed way. So if I jump, maybe summarize why are we here today, it's really about a quick and easy solution for PSD2 implementation and what we can find on top of it. That's really important. I mean, before I go in a bit to the detail of the technical side of the presentation and a bit explain some of the ratio behind, I would like to talk something about the motivation that we have and what we are doing and why are we doing this. I see when I look on today's world, that it seems very obvious that digital is getting on the spot. I mean, even without being in the situation that is impacted by the global pandemic situation of COVID. I mean, the whole population is becoming really digital, and the current situation of the pandemic era is even increasing that. So I think it's really important to mention that. The second really important factor is about smartphone penetration and its growth and its significance. It's really being a part of our life. It's a device that is helping us to be connected with our friends, with our families, with our business. It's a device that we have every day with us. So that's why we also think the mobile device as a spotlight is very important. Also, the security of mobile on the digital world itself is a crucial topic, because as we are moving to the digital world, the whole agenda that we do in everyday life, we really need to make sure that all our sensitive data or our financial data, everything that is linked to our lives and is sensitive to us, is really kept and maintained in a secure way. And what's impacting the business, and it's also about changes in the user expectations. I mean, with the mobile devices, with the opportunity to be us all connected online digitally, it's really changing our lives and the way we interact, and it's learning us how we can actually consume services and products instantly. So this is something that we're seeing, especially in the area of security, that if we want to deliver a solution that is really being secure, really need to make user friendly as well. So that's something we see it as a real challenge of the today's world. And also delivering the services or solutions to each and every institution, a bank, a government institution. It's each and every organization have specific needs. So we really, when designing, delivering technical solutions, we really need to think about how to stay flexible enough to support the particular use cases and the business life of this particular organization. And most importantly, especially here in Europe, I mean, we are very significantly impacted by the regulation and compliance. So all these things together has impacted the situation of what we see in authentication, what we see in the today's world. And this is something we would like to also talk about today a bit in more detail, because we believe that this topic has high relevance to all of us. When I just look on the this slide is simply summarizing what I've already mentioned. So I will maybe just skip it and not really repeating that. I would only repeat or highlight one of the things, and this is the last but not least importance of the utilizing the investments that we're doing to the security, because we're trying to change the businesses operating. It's impacted by the regulation, and I think that we can find something that is actually not really being a cost, but is helping also our customers or the to open new channels, new products, and new features that the users will appreciate. So that's something we would like to talk about today as well. But before we go to that, I mean, I'd like to outline the importance of your client's identity and the importance of client identity being online, because with the mobile devices, the importance of the opportunity of the online customers and having new channels communicating to the mobile device is very, very important. And we can even open new channels. I mean, the simple step or simple scenario that we can open to digital world is use the mobile device as being a key or authentication token to open digital channels. No matter if this is internet channel, if this is a mobile channel, if this is some other even voice channel, the mobile devices are enabling us to ensure really secure way to authenticate a user and to enable them log into the services. I mean, it's good not only to consider this as being as a technology, but it's important to see it as a processes that need to work together and be really easy to use. They need to protect us in the secure access, cover the portfolio of the applications that a bank or an organization might have, and really not to force the user to switch between portals with different authentication schemes. Because we see lots of our customers have number of online portals, they have a number of mobile applications that require security, and even with remote access of being people connecting to dedicated application or even networks, we really need to make sure that the users are secure or clients are securely authenticated. And for the clients, it's the security is not something that is bothering them. It's really happening behind them, and it's maybe even invisible to them. So in this case, we can build trusted online services. I mean, one of the examples that we've been doing on top of PSD2 implementation is a solution for passwordless login. I mean, if I would compare it to the standard way of what we're seeing in connecting to, for example, internet banking applications, you would probably need to enter your username, something that is preventing your username to being blocked. You would probably need to enter a password and then type your OTP or SMS code that you probably received from another channel. Okay, this process is compliant to the regulation, but it's probably not really matching the user requirements on the expectations that the users are having on today's digital services. So what we suggesting to customers, for example, switching to a passwordless authentication. I mean, we can show on the front end web front end application a QR code that I can simply scan it via the mobile application, and by simply confirming it on the mobile application with my biometrics or even just tapping it, I can simply log in to a web service, which is a process that is compliant to the strong customer authentication requirements, but it's even matching expectations on the user friendliness of logging into a digital service. So another example is just to have that solution matching or mapping to all the strong customer authentication requirements that you may have as bank, for example, for all the services that you have. This will help you to fulfill two-factor authentication. You don't need to really distribute the hardware authentication tokens. It will help you with the legal compliance. But if you have, for example, number of services, I think it's really, really important that you deliver an authentication tool that is really useful for all of your services. So one key for all of your applications. That's really important, whether these are internet or mobile banking, whether these are fintech or PSD2 applications that are you using, or whether it's just for confirming payments. I think it's really important from the user expectations on a user perspective side to have one applications covering all of them. And maybe not to talk only about it in a very high level detail. I'll maybe pass my words to Ondřej and ask him to maybe demonstrate an example of simple implementation and what we can achieve. With this passwordless login, and how to maybe help your internet banking applications to be more secured and enable user friendly authentication.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Ondřej Gabrhelík. I'm a leader of mobile development team and mobile security and right now I will show you our white label mobile token solution. So let me now log in. Okay. So right now we will sign up to our demo application called Your Bank. This particular instance run on Amazon Web Services, but you can also run it on Azure or on your own infrastructure. This instance verifies identities against Active Directory, but you can use any identity provider using our connectors. We also have our own identity provider where identities can be imported from your CRM or identity management system. Okay, so we have several options to log in in our application. We can either log in via mobile application. We will see it later. You can log in via Windows integrated authentication. I can't show it here on Mac. So third possibility is using certificate that is on a chip card. This use case is used mainly in corporate banking or enterprise security, and it's very secure authentication, typical password. And the last, which we use immediately, is an anonymous QR code, what Vašek was talking about. There is no need to enter a username in this use case. I will scan with my mobile phone the QR code. Okay, on the right side you see a screen of my phone. So now I am in my mobile token application, and I am logging with either biometric or PIN. When I authorize transaction in mobile application, well, I am now logged in my demonstration bank account. It's only in Czech language, but I think it's really clear. I will show you how I can create a new payment. I send some money. Okay, give me some amount, variables. Oh. It's not important. And now I will send message. I receive an notification which will guide me through mobile application. As you can see, there are all informations from sending money. So I will just easily click on confirm. Once again, I touch my phone and transaction is approved. So it's as simple as this. I easily log into my account using anonymous QR code and send money with my mobile application. This is our white label solution, and this is our demo. I will now, in very quick demonstration, show you the real application of our system in one of the biggest Czech bank called Česká spořitelna. It's a part of Erste Group. So this is my bank account. So I will log in. Great. Now I have a notification and I'm logging into my internet banking. So once again, I touch ID with my finger, and suddenly I am in my banking account. All right. It's great to see you. Superb. And once again, I can show you how easily I can do my payments, which I sent to my account. For Česká spořitelna, we created front-end web application and also entire mobile application with UX and UI. We designed it for them, almost entire solution. So now, okay, on my application, I see that I am sending 10 Czech crowns to my account in another Czech bank. I will authorize it, and well, that's all. Yes, you have successfully signed your request. Okay, thank you. So, okay, so now I will switch to next part of the presentation. Okay. All right. Maybe if there are any questions on this topic of mobile token and demo you have just seen, Olina.
Let's move to the questions in the end of the webinar. So we have one. Please tell us more about security, but I think this is actually the topic of the webinar, and let's. I invite everybody to prepare and type your questions, and we will be asking after the presentation. Answering.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me switch to next topic of our webinar. Now let's look at the security tool that protects all our mobile application you just seen, and its overlap is outside the banking market. Because hackers attack any application that collects data, it makes payments, or it contains in application payments, applications need to defend themselves against these type of attacks. These systems that are designed to protect application are called RASP, Runtime Application Self-Protection. And we have one solution that I want to show you right now. So let me be clear that attacks on mobile applications are real. There are many types of hacker attacks attacking the weaknesses of mobile operating system, but also the weaknesses of application and their connection to backend system. I will not go through all this. I will not describe all type of attacks, but it's certain that the application distributed by you to your client that you deploy to App Store or Android Store will come under attack from hackers, either directly on their dedicated mobile phones, or hackers can attack users on their own phone with help of some malware application. Fortunately, a key organization in the fight against cyber attacks is also aware of this risk. OWASP has defined and continue to maintain and update the mobile application security verification standard. This standard is a kind of guide on how to write application correctly from a security point of view, and how to protect application from all hacker attacks. OWASP defines 3 layers of mobile application protection. The first one, standard security, which is a basic security layer. The second one, defense in depth. It's well, let's say the correct implementation of this layer ensures that your application is protected from hackers in a really strong way. And above both 2 layers, there is a third layer called resiliency against reverse engineering and tampering. And this is a special layer that is designed to protect application against reverse engineering and modifications. Okay, there can be different combination of layers, and there are suitable for different types of application. However, for mobile banking application, it's strictly required to have level 2 with combination, in combination with resiliency layer. Okay. Implementation of these layers is really time consuming and requires specific knowledge of programmers and requires a high seniority of programmers and their awareness of this mobile application verification, security verification standard. That's why we have developed, maintained, and mainly offer our own RASP solution for protection of mobile application. We offer 2 types of products or a combination of them. The first one is mobile application protection. This includes very advanced protection against running application on root or jailbreak device. It contains application modification control, debugger control, repackaging control, and more controls as a part of a resiliency against reverse engineering. What more, this app protection contains user protection. For example, there is a overlay detection because there can be invisible app on the top of your app that is screening your user's tapping keyboard, so it can steal his password or steal his sensitive data. And we also offer tools to increase security. There are some tools to obfuscate string. There are tools to use certificate pinning, dynamic certificate pinning. And for example, there are also tools to perfectly use secure enclave and all other secure storages on Android or iOS platform. Very specific part of our library is offline malware detection. We have some heuristic tools that are continuously scanning in offline your client's phone and trying to find applications that are malware. Okay, so that's app protection, and we have also security monitoring. You can imagine that this is like Google Analytics for mobile security. There is a small library inserted in your application that is monitoring hardware, the device of your user, operating system of your user, and also monitoring application itself and sending information to our to cloud database where it connect this data, and those data are then visible to you via dashboard, and you can also access those data via API, via REST API. If you want to use it in your own security operating system, you can access those data using REST API. So now I will quickly show you how I will show you a demonstration application. It's important to note that Talsec is ideally completely invisible for the user. I have an application that will show you those controls, but in real application, those controls run behind the app and are for user invisible. So as you can see, all checks on my phone are correct. So the app integrity has not been compromised. You can see that unlocked operating system has not been detected. I must say that we have a really complicated jailbreak control. It's not a simple jailbreak control. We have a very sophisticated solution that has been pen tested with great results. There has not been detected any debugger, no runtime manipulation. There are no hooking frameworks like Frida or something else. The application is not running on simulator, it's on real phone. My device is clearly secured, and the device log has not been changed since the application was last run. My device supports secure enclave, and my device is secured by Touch ID. These are some of controls that Talsec is that solution is controlling on our mobile application. The last part of my demo, I will show you the dashboard, where you can monitor incidents that can happen, either jailbreak device, the signature of the application is not correct, or some runtime manipulation. Those are, of course, incident that was created in our pen test laboratory. So those are okay. I will show you how you can check when and on what device those runtime manipulation attack was performed. Okay, so now we can see there were 99. You can see the unique counts of instances, and here on the you can see the detailed log, what exactly happened, what device was it. And there are some, as you can see, Talsec found BF-decrypt library that is used to manipulate the application. So from my point of view, that's all, and I will give my word back to Vašek. Okay. Vašku, you have muted the microphone.
Thanks, Andra. Thanks for the demo and thanks for the walkthrough. I mean, it's important to mention that that with the application or with the application protection, we can either kind of make sure that the applications that we are distributing to the clients and to the end users are well protected. On the other hand, we can provide feedback to the users that, okay, your application, your device is in good condition. So when we were trying to speaking about the business opportunities, I see this being very relevant and important to the clients, that we can provide some additional value to them as well, and it will be really about the clients. So for us, this is not really being only about security, and we've been able to solve the security, but maybe to show a bit more how to utilize the investments that you need to do in terms of security. It's really important to outline the additional value and benefits to, for example, the users. And looking at the client's identity and the token or the identity on the mobile, I mean, it's important that for the users to deliver a framework that we can not only enable them to use one ID to log in, authorize transaction for web applications, native mobile applications, maybe to enable app-to-app communications, because not only one application is being really used, but organizations really do have really a number of applications in-house, but they also have some kind of partners, even third parties connecting to their applications. And even with PSD2, the APIs are open, so third parties can utilize that. So we really feel it's important that this one ID is enabled with all of these services, and we utilizing very significantly, and suggest you as well maybe to consider identity federation concepts that will help you to integrate all of your internal applications with third parties to enable these integrations. And maybe one of the examples on how you can potentially monetize your client base or the portfolio of users is also enabling the users and third parties to utilize the bank identity, because you as a bank have probably a number of clients that you have your verified clients. You have some of the services that you are delivering to the clients. You have your APIs that you are even opening to the market. And there are other third-party service providers that also have some of the clients. They do have number of services, and they do have some portion of the APIs. Some of them may be even integrated with your bank. So the simple idea is maybe to enable client onboarding, ID verification, and personal data verification, all these anti-money AML procedures to help the clients to extend the portfolio of the clients of the third party. I mean, and maybe to get paid for this verification either by the third party or by the client. So we really feel there is a high relevance even for you as a bank or an organization that have the client identities to open additional values to your clients, to maybe open your businesses, to utilizing the investments that you've made. For the users, it's about improving the overall user experience, helping building the trust of the bank. So the bank digital services is really a trusted platform for the discussion in the digital world, because you're enabling them to use one of the ID to connect to all of the services. And for the service provider, there is a significant benefit as well, because you enable them to enrich their client base and maybe enable a quick setup of their online services. So that was maybe a kind of brief summary of how we consider is possibly relevant and important to utilize the investment of on the not only compliance PSD2, but how to utilize the digital world possibilities, not only on the client side, but also on the online channels and in the banks as well. So this was for me, just doing a bit summary. I mean, if you're interested, you feel free to get more information. I hope Olena will share the presentation also with you. Maybe if there are any questions, I'm capture some of them. So maybe we
yes. Thank you, Václav and Andre. We have 2 questions at the moment, and I have mine. So I invite all the attendees so we can have some extra time now for questions and answers. So please type your questions. And the first was from Tomasz. Tomasz, did we answer your question during the webinar? So maybe please put it in a more precise way. And the second question is from Artem. How long does it take to implement ID port and TEL-SEC security? Andre, would you take this one?
Yes, I will take this question. According to TEL-SEC, the answer is easier. It's very simple to implement TEL-SEC into your application. It's a standard library for Android and iOS. We have very good for developers, very good documentation and implementation. So it takes 4 to 8 hours to implement TEL-SEC. It's really very easy. According to ID port, it depends how do you want to use it. If you use our product solution, you use our Amazon Web Services installation, or you want some modification either on mobile application, on front-end application. But yeah, it can be very easy, but sometimes it's a long project to implement ID port into organization.
Maybe if I just one thing, I think it's one thing is about technology, and technology it's ready and it's possible to deploy quite quickly. But it's worth to mention that all the authentication processes are also tied to the business side of how you interact with your clients. So I think it's not only about the technology, it's also about the business side and about thinking about the processes. So I think we can help also with designing the processes with some of the experience we have. I think it's very important not to skip this part.
Yes, and actually my question is connected with this. You know, I'm always thinking on the way that this is, I think, probably not the problem to do the secure authentication of the customer or the payment or anything. But now I think the main challenge is to make, to find a balance between the delivering a security and without jeopardizing customer experience. So, you know, because for example, me as an SME customer here in Poland, I mean, when you should, I don't know, enter your login password, then, you know, approve as a second confirmation, I don't know, SMS code or something like this. I mean, this makes me crazy a bit. So, and I think that this actually mobile ID works good for this for the user experience case. So what can you comment here? Have you, I don't know, do you have some information, or maybe have you measured the impact of the implementation to the user experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I can take the answer. Well, as you have seen in the demo, we are really strong focused on UX experience. And we are also very focused on security. It's not possible to equalize those and to balance those two aspects of mobile application or let's say mobile banking security. It's not very easy, but we are doing the long project with local university that is mainly focused on UX and security. And we have some great results from this project, and we are still continue to improve UX, which is really hard if you want to keep the security on maximum level, as our solution are providing.
Okay, thanks. And actually, my next question here: what does it take from a bank to cooperate with you? There was a previous question on the security part, but I mean in general. So if a bank decides to cooperate with you, what does it take from the bank? Because what also we see here is just because of this compliance implementations, very often banks don't have limited in the resources for the implementation of the new solutions for customers. And during this year we were speaking in all our webinars that the effective way to really fasten the products and to deliver them faster into the market is to cooperate with third-party providers. So what does it take from a bank? What resources are needed, time, budget, people to cooperate with you?
I probably can answer that. I mean, it's really, as I mentioned earlier, it's maybe in two layers. I mean, one is the technology, to maybe integrate the technology on one side. I mean, we are delivering a framework that is securing mobile web applications and the APIs. So I think it's probably good to align it with the development of the front end portals and the mobile and applications on channels that is actually the bank delivering. So that's one side, and the other side is on the business. I mean, to really design the processes to being really user to improve the overall using experience, not to let's say compromise it in any possible way. So in terms of what we learned through the times and being really using the mobiles as authentication tokens, I think it's very important to mention that the user needs to be as much as invisible to the end user as possible. So each and every automation we can deliver together is helpful. I think in summary, this is a standard IT project, but I'm not seeing this really specific in any other way.
Yeah. Here in Czech Republic, we have really different types of projects, from really smallest project where we just deliver our SDK for mobile application and deliver some backend components, and bank implemented in their own teams, implemented in their solution. They created their application, they created their front-end application from. So this is the smallest implementation and smallest integration with us. And we have also the biggest project where our people are doing analysis. They are programming front-end applications, mobile applications. They are customizing our backend application to use in concrete bank possibilities. So from the smallest project where we deliver just part of our solution to the biggest long-term project.
Mm-hmm. So, and what are the terms of the smallest and the biggest projects? I mean, from your experience, I mean, is it months? Is it a half an hour and a year? Or what is the term?
Yeah, I think that from the smallest, it can be within 1 month. Okay. It can be implemented within 1 month.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And from your experience, what are the challenges that mainly banks are facing who is implementing this? Because now we see, only the benefits, I would say, for the mobile ID implementation, and when 100% of the banks will have it, what is your predictions and what are the challenges actually here?
It's actually a good question. I mean, the challenges, I believe, it's on the business side as well. It's designing the processes, because really to think about that there is a start with distribution, with the enrollment activation, and really to learn the users how to actually use it. So there needs to be not only the technology delivery to business, but there needs to be communication from the bank and to users to explain it, how to use it. Because from the perspective or from the experience we've gained is it's very simple in use, and users love to use it, but there is some learning curve. Yeah, so you need to somehow show them why why to use the mobile ID, to explain them that is not only easier to use, but it's also more secure. And once you have some materials that is helping the users to with the process of onboarding, then it's very simple, and users much appreciate that. So I think this on the learning side is very, very important in communication as well.
Yeah, and do you, when implementing the projects in the banks, do you cooperate with some other partners, let's say?
Yeah, we're actually delivering in two models. Either we provide the services directly to the bank if the bank is designing and delivering their front-end application and channels directly. But most of the banks already have some of the business partners, or IT providers, IT vendors, developers that they are used to work with. So we also work in the way that we're providing this security, let's say, frameworks to their third parties. And if you are a third party and maybe you are delivering a front end applications, you probably don't want to take that much time about security, because the technology is changing. It's there are new threats, new standards coming in. So we kind of trying to, let's say, focus on the core business that we have, which is the security, and really delivering and best practices, implementation best practices, implementation that each and every third party can use it and deliver the final product, whether this is a mobile or web or application that is being delivered to the end user, which is the client.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't have questions. So thank you very much for your contribution, Václav and Andrei. So as I mentioned, we will send the presentations within an hour and the video of the webinar to all our attendees. So thank you very much. Stay safe and see you next time online. Goodbye.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.